So what's up, guys? It's Vincent, and I'm exhausted. I'm beat up. I hit my head. I know you can't see the mark right here. Oh, you can't see the mark. It's right there. It's very light, but it was enough. I know it don't look like much, but I banged it right against the bumper, and it was solid, and it hurt like a mother, and I had my eyes closed, so I accidentally did it, so it was like the force was monitored none. Usually if you're looking at something, you come to it, you're like, oh, I gotta slow down, you know? I had my eyes closed. I was trying to get dirt out of it. I had dirt in my face. I was trying to, you know. But I'm taking a break. This is my end of my weekend. I got a lot done. Pretty much everything on the hot side is done besides this, the wastegate and the crossover pipe. The only reason this is not done is because On3 decided, I guess, 7 years ago, they weren't gonna give me the 2.5-inch band clamp, the V-band clamp. So I'm beat up. I know that don't look like a lot, but I'm just covered. The bruises. Like I'm covered. I'm dirty. It's been enough. I'm done for today. But they didn't give me a 2.5 B-band clamp, and then also I didn't know this, but the On3 turbo kit is really meant for a stock motor, not a built one or anything aftermarket. So I had to, like, right here. I know it doesn't look great, and it'll look a little better later on. But I had to beat the absolute living crap out of it, bend it backwards, and still it's not 100% perfect. I mean, it'll have a little bit of give, and I'm going to put a little bit of stuff to keep it from rubbing. And I'm going to cut a little bit more out, actually, just like a half an inch more. But it took everything I had in my power. And with my little tiny baby compressor that I used to cut stuff with, it took me 2 days worth of cutting. That, plus I had to cut all this, and that's not touching, but I had to cut all that. And luckily when you actually put it on there, it gives you a little bit more room. Actually tightens up a little better, but so that's all good. So we're just going to go through real quick on what I've done today and yesterday. So I pretty much got from the turbo, I wrapped right there because the manifold is also right there. And it's going to get hot right there, so I don't want no hot air trying to, like, touch my pipe. That goes over to here, which then goes over to this cross pipe with the blow-off valve. So it's tucked under there. It's sitting a little low right now. I'm going to adjust it more when I tighten it down, but all I'm gonna do is flip it up and then tighten it. And then this right here, so this is what got me, was the intercooler. So I guess a lot of it is that, one, I have a 1-inch spacer, so that's one thing, and then two, this intercooler has to sit like a certain spot. Like, you can get it a little bit lower, but I had it way lower than this. As you can see, I've tried multiple different cuts, and when I get the perfect one, I'm gonna slice this off. But I've tried and tried and tried, and finally I looked at some On3, pictures, and on the pictures they have this up a lot closer to this, but I couldn't get this up anymore. The clamps were going to touch like 100%, so I didn't want to take away any more room. That's literally the length of my finger is about all the room I got, so not going to do that. But this one right here was probably the worst part. It's either this is the worst part and something else is going to be worse later on. It's in there now. It's perfect. This clamp's tight. This one's not. There's nothing on there right now. But I can feel the metal. There's a little lip for it. So that's in. That's money. That's all the way around. So that means that right there I'm going to make boost. And then right here, I feel a little gap right there. But I can also feel the metal right here. So I'm assuming that that little gap, maybe if I push this in a little bit more. Yeah, I'll push this in a little bit more. It might be a little bit better. But I'm not worried about it right now. I'm going to mess with it when I actually tighten things down. A lot of it is, there is going to be a lot of flex when you tighten it down because the tightening is what's going to keep it in place. But man, I've had my balls kicked out of me, and I've got metal all over the place. As you can see, there is just dust everywhere from me cutting it. Now, I tried to lay things down on there, but it's going to need a full wipe off. I made sure to cover all my inlets and outlets and make sure that nothing, like no metal actually got into the motor. But it's everywhere. Look at the top of this. You see a little dust and specks all over. That's mixed between this and the metal and just a lot of things. So I'm going to blow all this out and try to get it as clean as possible. And luckily, everything, this was all covered when I was doing all this work. So all this is fine. But everything else, like the car itself, it's got a little bit of dirt on it from all this. But I'm tired. I'm done with it. I don't want to deal with it right now. Cold side's done. And the hot side is practically done as soon as the 2.5-inch V-band clamp shows up. There's a couple things, and I don't know if it's just because my kit was a little bit more custom or what. Is that actually... Yeah, okay. Was that I was missing a couple things. For instance, I was supposed to have... supposedly, it says included a boost controller. There was no boost controller. And if there is, they didn't explain it at all. The instructions are not very great. And another thing is they don't give you an answer for this transmission line. See, it's not touching, but they don't give you an answer to it. So my only answer was to take a bunch of spacers. I bought a whole kit of the spacers and stuff like that for nuts. And then I just gave as much space as I could, and then went down here, and I cut off the 10mm bracket that holds that in place. I took a zip tie around it, and then put a zip tie around the 2 holes to keep it from like moving. So you can see it's very tight. But the problem is that when you go around here, this has to go under the power steering cooler stuff. That's stupid. I'm going to adjust it up a little bit more. I probably got about 2 inches right there. You can't really see, but like it's definitely not touching right now. But definitely, when everything tightens down, I don't want nothing rubbing. So I thought about maybe just removing the transmission cooler lines altogether, crimping them or putting them together and rerouting them. Because, I mean, even with my oil filter relocation kit right there, all I did was take one of the pieces that hold the radiator. I zipped it down right there, heated it up, and then started smacking it over until it got into the shape I wanted. And it was out of the way, and that's where that goes. So, but with this being here, this also causes me to lose a lot of room right there. As you can see, is the crossover pipe, or not the crossover, well, I guess it's crossover. It's something pipe. The round pipe there, it goes to the compressor. Not connected, but it will fit. I already tested it. The only reason it came off is because I pulled this off earlier to get this lined up and moved over left and right. But it does fit. I checked before I pulled it back off again. I just pulled it back off again because I was doing a couple other things and I wanted it out of my way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's where we're at. You know, we're bolted up pretty much all the way around. So starts here, goes down to that little one that's disconnected at the moment, goes around here through the intercooler, back up to the fender, and then through the throttle body. And then we've got our exhaust, our 2 manifolds right there. And then the crossover pipe, which is there, so this will go over here. And that will go over here. And it'll connect to the back side of the turbo. And the hot side. And then that's pretty much it. And then we'll be ready to start. I do have to do an oil drain. It's got oil feed, ain't got no oil drain. So as you can see right here, all I did was take the little converter thing, adapter thing, took off my oil pressure sending unit, and then put in the AN line, and then routed it around. I don't know where I'm going to put it when I'm done with everything. I was just kind of seeing how it's all going to look before I do it. And then I'm trying to make sure my turbo's clocked. I know it's hard to tell, but like, I don't know. The turbo's not 100% bolted down, so really it's supposed to be like it's tilted a little bit right now. That's why I took that off down there, because I was tilting it. So that's pretty close to being on 12 o'clock, I think. But I don't know. But yeah, I've been adjusting. Still a lot of adjusting to go, but everything's together and touching and actually in the silicone. And let me tell you, if you have an intake spacer or a different intake, you're going to have to cut a lot more out. And honestly, I'm still thinking about taking even more out of it. I'm hoping that when I tighten it down, it's not going to be as bad. But it don't look that great. It looks terrible. Luckily for me, you know, I can get a welder and weld it all back up if I decided I was wrong or did something wrong. But that's still a lot more work for something that could have been avoided if I'd known what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of figuring out as I'm going. So yep. But here in a day or two, I'm going to pull the turbo off, block off everything. And then I'm going to spray everything out and wipe it down with alcohol and get cleaned up and wax it all up again. So I just wanted to give you guys a update. I'm too tired to keep going. Honestly, my back hurts really bad. I've pulled some muscles. Like I said, I'm all scratched up. I hit myself in the face yesterday. I've been doing so much like this. I had to cut all this out. And you're probably thinking it doesn't even need to be cut out. But every time I do something, like when I raise this up and down again from all the different, every time I raise this up and down, something's touching. So at this point, I've cut everything. Everything's about cut up. So I'm done. That's a 10-minute video right there. I appreciate you guys. I stream on the weekends. I don't really promise if I'm going to stream every weekend. I'm just really going hard at this right now to try to get this done. So this is where we're at, and this was some of the problems I had with this kit and some of the things to think about. Like, for instance, having a intake spacer makes it really hard. I mean, it'll probably help with the downpipe when it goes through, but where the intake sits an inch higher, you've got to cut a lot more out. A lot more out. And once I get it a little bit more shaped, like I'm probably going to take a hammer to it, try to beat it up a little more. I haven't beat it out, I've just cut it. All I've done is cut. But I'm gonna try to beat it out upwards a little bit, try to get it this smooth, and then I'm gonna take some like protectors, the plastic, to like keep it from rubbing the pipe, and then that'll pretty much be it. I'll paint it as well because I've got the color paint. Y'all probably can't notice, but I painted this car like crazy. Some spots are way better than others, but like right there, you'd never be able to tell that was painted. None, all this was painted. I sanded it. I know it looks dirty right now because there's a little dirt sitting there for the metal, but all this has been painted. I did all this, so definitely you can even see where I got a little paint right here. But it happens. Happens to the best of us. Like I painted that. I know it doesn't look great. That's probably the first time I ever did it, but that was for the battery relocation removal, and then the fuse box right there that I put in, and stuff like that. And for instance, I painted this. So my little window motor was completely like, it was just like flaking off. So I just sanded it down to the metal and then gave it a quick coat of paint. It don't look the best, but god dang, it looked better than it did. I wish I had a picture of what it looked like before. But that's pretty much it, guys. So I'm done. I'm serious. I'm like beat up. Even just being out here right now, I'm sweating. And I'm really tired. I'm really hurting. And I have to go to work here in a couple days. And I've got to do laundry. And I've got to cook and clean. I haven't been eating because I've been trying to save as much money as I can. I just went and spent another $60 in more L-shaped brackets, some WD-40 just to clean the in-betweens up, but I'm ready to put everything together. So like for instance, these like little L-shaped brackets. I might need to redo stuff. You know, I was kind of worried. I was like, man, what happens if one of those testing brackets breaks or something? I gotta replace it. So I was like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to go get another one. So I'll just get another one. So, all right, that's it. Thanks, guys. I want to give a shout out to Grease Monkey Garage and, oh my gosh, I can't remember your name, the other guy. I'm sorry, other guy. You're amazing. You showed up and you talked to me about your 89 Mustang. I think it was an 89 Mustang. You were one of the first people to show up in the streams that got me to like keep going streaming. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys. We're going to keep moving on with it. I'm in a Mega Squirt tuning group. So when the Mega Squirt tuning group, like we're talking about it, and I'm like, hey, how can I, like what should I do before I get this thing going? Because the car's naturally aspirated tuned, but it's not boosted tuned. So I'm going to use the stock, the tune I've got in there right now, go and interpolate the KP up to 200, which will be 14 PSI. And then we should only be running about 7 to 8, maybe 9 if it's cold weather out. And that's about it. But blow up valve and all that stuff should work in the wastegate. So we'll see. But thank you guys. I appreciate you. We got a lot more stuff coming in. We got a we've got a boost controller, a boost gauge, which will be really nice. It'll be really cool. And a tap. We got the 3/8 MBT tap, I think is what it was, or whatever tap they recommend from the Vortec and all that. So, yep. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.